Good morning and welcome to our In Conversation with series. I'm Sarah Austin and this is the Really Helpful Club. It's a beautiful sunny morning in October and it's a pleasure to have so many of you join us already on the call. For those of you that have been part of this series, you'll know that this is where we shine the spotlight on different entrepreneurs, business leaders, leading experts. And what we're doing with this is we are finding out about them, hearing about their journey, what inspired them to then start their business, and to ask them to candidly share some of their insights along the way. Now, this morning, I am going to be joined by Charissa Risley, and Charissa is the founder of Artfully Sorted. Now, I'm just going to send her a quick invite to see if she can join me. I can see that, Charissa, you've joined me on live, but I can see Charissa Risley's joined, but not Artfully Sorted. Got it. Fantastic. Looks like you switched. So we're going to be joined by Charissa Risley from Artfully Sorted, and I love this. This is like getting under the bonnet. This is getting to know different people, know what's the inspiration behind their business. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
Oh, lovely to see. It's a beautiful sunny October morning. Don't you love those?
Absolutely. I went to Twickenham yesterday, and it was just beautiful. Sat by the river, had a drink. It was lovely.
Well, I know we're going to be talking sort of all things interiors, art, and everything else. But I just love this time of year because, that as you're sort of entering that different season, it's those different colours, it's so rich, it's that sense of suddenly, you're so aware of your surroundings. And I think this is, again, one of those times of year that is one we sort of really enjoy and celebrate. So Charissa Risley, I have
such inspiration from this time of year as well.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Now, I haven't said anything about you yet, other than your name and name of your business. I'm acutely aware that I'm standing in front of, in fact, one of my favourite paintings in our house. So, but obviously we're going to hear all about you and your business in just a sec. But maybe just want to sort of say hello, because I know we've got lots of people joining already, which is lovely. It's so nice when we really do get a live audience. So just say hello.
Hi, everybody.
So look, the way we do these things is, I've got some questions I want to ask Charissa. We're going to hear about the inspiration behind her business, some of the projects she's got on the go, and then also to share with us some of the sort of exciting developments and some of the interesting events she's got. But look, we've already got so many of you on the call already. This is your chance. I love this spotlight stuff because this is your chance to ask Charissa a question. So if there's anything you've ever wanted to ask Charissa, this is your moment. And I'm pretty sure she will have the answer for you. So, so these are not what I call one-way traffic. This is absolutely for you to do two things. One is to pop a comment in the chat box. If you've worked with Charissa or she's done a project for you and you want to celebrate that in the comment box, be our guest, go ahead and say something. But also, if you have a question for her, this is your moment to shine that spotlight. We're a very collaborative bunch. So let's kick off and learn about Charissa Risley. I know, Charissa, we go back a very long way, and it goes, life before Artfully Sorted. But let's learn a little bit about you, your background, and I guess your journey, because it's that classic thing where the journey is so interesting, and learning more about you, what became, what turned into Artfully Sorted.
Sure. Well, as you know, Sarah, because that's where we sort of initially crossed paths, but I was in the city in finance for about best part of 17 years. But interestingly, in a role which the skill set was quite similar to what I deploy today. So, I had clients that I was, responsible for and effectively trying to find solutions to sort of their needs. And in those days, it was, with sort of financial investment decisions. And today it's with art. But I left that job in 2012, looking after our children, and really since then had been on the hunt for Charissa Part 2. involved. I was heavily involved every year since then with, fundraisings, and, I organised our school Christmas fair for 3 years running. I was involved in a fashion show at the Dorchester Hotel for 500, individuals, with some amazing team then. So I was really busy, but hadn't quite found, my sort of next raison d'etre. And then that, I think, all really came to be November 2017. So, coming up to 4 years ago, where I thought it was time I did a little bit of something back for my mother. My mother's an artist, has exhibited all her life. And I decided to hold an exhibition for her at home here in Wimbledon. And I emptied the whole of the downstairs of all the furnishings, sofas, rugs, everything, and filled the space with art on my walls. And I hired some metal easels and displayed artwork, and that was sort of my first eureka moment, was how warm my home felt, possibly warmer with all the art in it. And I kind of started, that really was the process for me, starting to think that, art was sort of quite important, quite critical to a home really feeling like a home. And then, the evening came to be. We did it for children in need. So there was, that charity element to it, which I'll come on to in a bit. We raised money for children in need through art sales, and it was just a really wonderful feeling. And I got a lot of energy from it, and then it was actually my mother who said, I can really see you doing this as a profession. And I thought, gosh, there's lots of people that do what I do, art consultants, as galleries, as, so, and she said, no, I think you've got something special, which is very lovely of my mummy to say. So I enrolled in a course in Sotheby's, January 18, on selling art in the modern world. And it was really through that course that I started, listening from experts on how you should sell art in the real world, and me coming away thinking that's not how I want to sell art in the real world. There isn't one template. And so, yeah, my sort of ideas started to form. And my feeling really was that there are, of course, swathes of people who are very confident that when they go to an art exhibition or they go to an art fair, they see a piece of work, they fall in love with it, they buy it, they put it on their wall at home, they're done, but there's lots and lots of people who don't do that, who find it really challenging, both from a budget point of view, but in terms of, it is a big financial commitment. And so my sort of thinking was to do it where I basically come into the home. And a very, very dear interior designer friend of mine, just said, look, I don't work with any art consultants at the moment. I think you should set it up. So that was really the foundations of Artfully Sorted. After that sort of event for my mum in 17, and then the course I did in January 18.
But I didn't
story. A whole nother year, because I had I had quite a bad fall in spring 2018 and had quite a bad accident, so that took out the most of 18 for me, and then I got to January 19 and the same interior designer friend said, right, what's happening with your business? And I thought, right, I better, and my thinking, I think what was useful about that time was that despite I'd had sort of 9 months from when I decided I'd like to set it up to actually setting it up, and we can talk about the process involved in that, I felt nothing had changed, and actually that made me more confident to do it, really.
That is such a lovely story. I mean, there's so much in that I think is so interesting and will be really resonating both with people watching this, but I think also it is getting under the bonnet of you. It's really interesting. There you are, you talk about how lovely your mother was, but what a lovely daughter to initiate that idea in the first place, to support her, to support charity. And then, you talk about the portable skills from your life and your chapter, Charissa chapter 1, as you call it. And then looking for chapter 2, which is what so many people are looking for. It's that, and I think particularly for women, we are in many ways fortunate because we do get to move in these chapters in our lives, whether it's as a mother or as a carer, or there are often punctuation marks that allow us to rethink and
Yeah.
to find that, you know, Charissa part 2 or part 3 or even part 4, you know, for some people. But again, you talk about those portable skills where you were able to lift those from what would appear to be a completely unrelated career path in the form of, you know, the city, but it's that love of clients, making a difference, taking that stress out, making it a journey.
Yeah, it's the tailoring. I mean, I've thought about this. It's, you know, it's the tailoring of what you're effectively selling to a client to match needs. And I think, you know, that is, you know, something that sort of, you know, I'm, you know, I take great pride in providing something to a client that will absolutely match their needs. You know, yeah.
And it's what I also loved when you were talking then. I mean, I watched your journey, you know, as a very sort of interested viewer as well, is that how you talk about that feeling of slightly coming alive, and you know, talking about your career journey, not just in terms of like a light bulb moment, but in terms of feelings as well, and what that did to you. It's like something lit up, and it was really interesting. I know you're great supporter of everything we do, and we did our Back to Business conference last week, and we had, you know, the amazing accessories designer Anya Highmarch talking to our audience.
Amazing.
And she was using, you know, and here I am putting it in that same breath, as it were, that feeling of coming alive, that feeling of something awakening. And that's what I think you've just shared with us. So thank you very much. I'm sure everyone listening will have really appreciated that. So let's drill into Artfully Sorted a bit. You know, bluntly, what do you do? Because, you know, you talked about, you know, for some people it's an easy experience, it's a very comfortable one of going to an art gallery. For others, that's, you know, not such a comfortable journey. But if I'm sitting here in comfort of wherever anyone is watching this, is actually, why would they get in touch with you? What are the services that you can help them with?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's we do a whole range of services now, you know, as the business is, you know, sort of second year really. Yeah, I mean, it is, yeah, second year. You know, we can arrange gifting of art, so, you know, special occasions for a big birthday, someone would like a commission. You know, Joe Holdsworth, one of our artists, has done a number for us, Susanna McInnes. So, you know, so we do gifting of art is one option. We help clients. Another one, which I have to say I've done a couple of times now, and I absolutely love, is where I go and do a home wall makeover. You know, so I'm like a wardrobe for walls, because effectively there are people who have art, they've inherited art, they've bought art, they've moved into a house, they've put it on some walls, and then, you know, like the rest of us, they're busy with life, and then they know that there's a piece that sort of slightly annoys them, and they have, yeah. And so what I've done, and I actually take great joy doing, is going in and quite bluntly going, that doesn't work there, that does work there. I really think you should maybe put that one away. I mean, obviously we're not talking, you know, these are not sort of highly valuable pieces of art. And what that does is it you know, by moving art to, or, you know, or it's a framed print or whatever it is, you know, to a different spot that you might not have considered with a fresh pair of eyes and slightly critical pair of eyes, what then happens is that it then frees up some walls. You know, it frees up some walls where the client will then turn to me and say, actually, absolutely, that we need a new piece of art there. So, you know, so gifting of art, you know, wall makeover for walls. I also increasingly, you know, work with collectors who come to me and say, you know, what artists are really excited at the moment, you know, who should I be investing in? So, you know, I don't bill myself as an art investment consultant, but I have very strong views on who I think is really exciting. And, you know, if you've got budget to spend, let me come and do a portfolio for you. And then, you know, but the increasing part of the work I do are, you know, those clients who have moved to a home, or they've finished a project, or they've been in their house for a while, and they're just finding it a little bit challenging to find that wow piece for their walls. A lot of my clients, both husband and wife, work, and so it's sort of people who tend to be time poor, and have some budget to spend on something quite special, and just would like somebody like me to come in, you know, a bit like in my old job, that's how I used to do, is just filter what's out there to match their budget, their tastes. And, you know, it's really exciting actually when you leave a house and you shut the door and, you know, they're enjoying their art. You know, they're enjoying their art.
that is a lovely feeling to have. And so a couple of things here. You mentioned Jo Holdsworth, and she's on the call, so that's great to hear. But she also writes something very nice back about you. Love working with Artfully Sorted on commissions. Charissa has an amazing understanding of clients' needs, which again is so interesting, because you talk about, you go in and you do effectively a wall MOT, or an art MOT, as it were, which is again, we can all get our heads around a car MOT.
Brilliant, Sarah. I'm going to use that.
So I'll book one, yes please, because I get it totally. It's that classic thing. I mean, if we're all honest with one another, and that's actually part of what we're doing on these calls, we are, this is not just about sort of, look at me, I'm amazing. This is actually being honest with one another. And you're absolutely right. You move in somewhere, you go, that'll do there, thanks very nicely, bang, 15 years later, oh, I wonder if that does work there. And so, because you've suddenly got, oh, I wonder, and that's where you fit in. And it's
happens is, sorry, in one where the husband has inherited or been given something, and he's sort of carried it through his life, and the wife has sort of put up with it, and it just her face when I've come in and gone, why don't we just put that to one side? Oh, it's lovely.
So without wishing to give away your trade secrets, is that your code for, we need to get rid of that, but I'm not gonna say it in quite that way. So anyway, sorry, we're kind of digressing. So I love this. I assume this is a client of yours, Messy Nessie. What a brilliant Instagram name. So helpful. What a fabulous service someone else has put here. You're obviously doing great things. Wonderful insight. Love it. You obviously you're doing two things: working with your clients, making a difference, giving them that wall makeover, sorting out some of those inherited pieces that you were talking about, doing wonders for that, but also doing great things for the artists as well, and giving them their artistic voice, which is again, I know you work with so many people, and I remember coming to support you at the Affordable Art Fair, and again meeting your mum, and all the artists love working with you. And I think that is infectious. Here we go. Right. Charissa really takes the time to support and connect with her artists. Thank you very much. And I promise you that wasn't planted. Right. Okay. We're going to digress too much. This is what I love about these chats we do, because we try and do them in about sort of 20, 30 minutes and stuff. And the problem is you guys are too interested. You've got too much to share. So it's very difficult to condense it. And but they're great. And I think you are infectiously just attracting people into your tribe, which is great. So look, question number 3, we only got to that. What makes you unique? And I think we're sort of picking up on that already, but but tell us what makes Artfully Sorted the place that someone should think about coming to.
Thank you. Well, I mean, I work with, I've created a book and still creating a book. I mean, my book isn't, it's full, and, I'm nice position to sort of say it's full at the moment, but, I'm always looking out for new talent and new artists to work with. And so I have a fabulous book of artists I work with, who I've now got to really know very well, know how they work, know how to, particularly when we commission pieces, commissioning a piece of art isn't easy, because at the end of the day, the client's going, here's some money for you to do something for me, please, that hopefully I like at the end of it, and a lot of artists actually find that process negotiating with clients a bit awkward at times, or and so having someone like me kind of as the go-to, and I'm very, very good at understanding what the client wants and translating to the artist. At the moment I've got an artist that's actually, she's with the art agency, but I've known her of old. Cassia Clark is doing a super commission for a client for me up in London, and just only yesterday I showed them the photo, and bearing in mind this is something we talked about 3 months ago because she's that busy, and the client just said, absolutely love how this is progressing. So it's but I have gone in and tweaked things a little bit, so I think that's a real strength, is kind of delivering on briefs, whether it's for interior designers or clients, etc. Amazing artists that we work with, and it's really varied book, and it's just that it's knowing what I think will work and not work, and that's why first thing actually I do whenever I go into a new project or a new, wall, is I measure, because I do think you need to get the sizing right of work as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
completely. So look, just reinforcing that, which is really interesting, because we've heard a little bit from some of the artists you work with. But again, I think, what you're talking about there is so interesting, because through the eyes of the client, particularly commissioning a piece is really interesting, because it's exciting, but it's an emotional journey. You're going to live with this piece, this thing that you're buying. As you say, sometimes it's a celebration around a special birthday or an event, and therefore it carries a lot of sort of emotional connection and sort of baggage with it as well. But I love this comment, which is clearly through the eyes of one of your clients. Charissa really helped me find a new and exciting piece for our home. Highly recommend. And so anyone who's listening to you, Charissa, and thinking, God, I think I like the idea of this sort of MOT wall business, and what can she do for me? That's a hell of an endorsement. So thanks for sharing that. Please keep sharing them. I love this. So look, obviously we're now, the narrative about COVID has sort of shifted yet again. So we immediately went into lockdown. Yeah. Our homes became our everything. Yeah. And everyone had to pivot. They had to adapt. We all got used to that sort of that language and stuff. And of course now we used to sort of talk about we'll have to live post-COVID. I'm afraid it's living with COVID is probably the real narrative. But you inevitably, like every other business, every other individual, parent, mother, daughter, everyone out there, you have adapted too. So tell us how you adapted in the last 18 months, and what you're doing now. It's what's the changed environment like?
Yeah, I feel very blessed, to be honest, that I set about building my book of artists in summer 19, because had I waited a year longer, I just so from that point of view, I was sort of ready to go. We did the affordable for Art Fair last March 2020. Should that fair have gone ahead? Probably not, but it did. Very grateful for it did. We were featured as one of the galleries to watch, which was really exciting. And then we locked down, and obviously during strict lockdowns, I wasn't going into people's homes, and nor did I want to go into people's homes. So we started to move artworks online. So on the Affordable Art Fair platform, I set up my own online gallery shop page during sort of the stricter COVID measures, which was not something that I had necessarily envisaged I was going to do, but I have, and we've sold through that. So it just sort of, forced me to look at other avenues to promote and sell art for my artists. I also did a show in June 2020, which was a bit bonkers, but I did it on my own at home. Nature Reflected. We raised money for Worldland Trust, which is an amazing conservation charity, and it was just we were adapting to the new world, and the new world was selling art online, doing virtual shows at home, but it kept us real, it kept us in the dialogue, and a lot of my artists are very, very thankful because not all galleries responded in a similar way.
Absolutely. And I think it kept you relevant. And there are some sectors, some industries where I think people were particularly resourceful, and you're one of them. Because it's not an obvious pivot to make, and yet you not only pivoted, for want of that now somewhat overused word, but did it very successfully. And I would imagine that this is a source of business, a service which you can continue to do for people. And again, it extends your reach, which means that actually anyone watching this and again, well, I really like Charissa, but how could she come and see me in wherever I live, which might be the other end of the country, a different country, and but actually, so therefore you can extend the opportunity to the people that you can help. So in many ways, it's helped you to accelerate what you can do.
I'm now on an American platform called First Dibs, which is I've had a painting from a Norfolk artist end up in Delaware. I just find that incredible. And it's fine. It's not artfully sorted. So, coming to the home, coming up to, it's a different angle to my business, but it's one that's just as wonderful, really.
It's so fascinating, isn't it? Because, you know, there is a service which I think one would imagine would be naturally very local, very localized. And yet you are exactly that, helping people literally go into their home, you know, do that wall thing, sorting out that sort of inherited sort of heirloom, as it were. And but also being able to help that client in Delaware, I think is really fascinating. So thank you. So I just want to share these three comments that have come in. Charissa definitely is able to communicate what her clients need and want from a commission. Thanks for that, Kate. Loved being in a nature reflected show, and I think that again it shows making a difference is something that matters to you on so many different levels. And so lots of agreement, lots of lovely sort of warm support going on for you here. So look, just sort of carrying on with the sort of types of projects that you're doing. I guess it's, you know, what you were alluding to earlier is we've just spent a very intensive time in our homes. We've perhaps looked at our homes through a different light. And I know we've talked to the guys at Hoban Design who've been fascinating about some of the projects they've worked on and some of the commissions they've got and stuff. Is maybe you could tell us about some of the trends you're seeing and any sort of particular projects that you want to shine the light on.
Well, I think, you know, I think as a theme, as a sort of structure, you know, as an ongoing theme, you know, creating an environment in your home which brings you well-being and positivity, I just think is a theme that's not going to go away, you know. Yeah. So, you know, even if the world, you know, is opening up and we can travel a bit more and we're going to the office, but I think that sense of, you know, finding peace and well-being in your home, and that's great for art, because, you know, there's so many shown, you know, surrounding yourself with art, whatever definition of art that is, whether it's sculpture or print or etc., you know, genuinely has positive effects on well-being, which is why, you know, they have lots of artists going into hospitals, etc. So I think, you know, that theme will not go away, and therefore I think, you know, in terms of disposable income spent, I mean, the art market has just continued to grow and grow globally. Yeah. That's a very powerful theme for us as a business to be tapped into. What I am seeing is that, as you know, we're operating from a hybrid model, and there's question marks over whether people are going to go back to work full time. You know, people who've sort of found a room in the house where they were doing their Zoom calls are now going, well, actually, I might be here for a while. And so, so, you know, getting some requests for people saying, can you come and find me something nice for my home office? So I'm going to redecorate the spare bedroom into a home office. So we're seeing those trends absolutely continuing. And as we approach Christmas, you know, starting to get some commissions coming in, and we just had one recently as well, you know, family commissions that just make, it's just a different gift, isn't it? It's just special, it's bespoke. And so that's what we're getting busy with project wise. Yeah.
Very good indeed. So look,
sorry, there's also, you know, what I would say is, because of all the delays, it's interesting, because of all of the delays that are happening due to shortages of housing materials, you know, there's been quite a lot of delays in home projects, but those are starting to come to an end. So we've got one particular one in Wimbledon that's massive house project that is finally starting to see some walls going up. I will be pretty busy with that in the first quarter of next year.
Oh, very interesting. So, and lest we forget, you've got a pop-up coming up, haven't you?
Yes. So I just sort of felt that I did the Nature Reflected show last year, hoping, although not yet as confirmed, to be back at the Affordable next year. So I wanted to do something this year to showcase some of my lovely artists, you know, work, but I didn't really want to rent a gallery space, particularly given still uncertainties over, you know, timings and who can come. So I'm going to decide to do for Christmas pop-up, which is going to be here at home in Wimbledon on the 24th of November, and it's a celebration of some of my artists, local artists, as well as local artisans who make beautiful things, whether it's jewellery, you know, candles. There's really exciting new beauty range called Jewel Skincare, who's going to be there. And yes, I just felt that last year Christmas was properly cancelled, and I love a Christmas pop-up. So I thought this year I'm gonna do one, and there'll be art, you know, to be bought, to be seen, to be enjoyed. And we've nominated 2 charities. So normally Artfully Sorted, we support Artists in Residence, which is a children's arts charity. It's an incredible charity with percentage of sales. They effectively bring artists into schools. A lot of schools have seen budgets cut, as you know, for the arts. And, you know, there are schools who simply don't have big art departments, and, you know, things that a lot of other children take for granted. So this charity is amazing because they bring artists into schools, and I just think it broadens their educations and horizons. So we normally support artists in residence, but for this pop-up, we're going to be supporting 2 charities. Choose Love, which is a refugee charity after the events of Afghanistan, and then a local charity called TLC Merton, who support women who've left abusive relationships. It's an amazing charity. They basically help them get onto the track of life, of supporting themselves. And they've got a 100% hit rate of women not going back. So it's an amazing charity. And yes, my pop-up, and through sales of the pop-up, we'll be supporting those 2 charities.
Well, I think, again, it's amazing to hear you dedicating your energy together with making a difference to your clients, but also making a difference to those charities. So thanks for that. And we will be delighted to support that. I'm sure everyone watching will want to stick 24th of November into their diary and find a way to come along. So look, just 2 very quick questions, really, because I think we've learned a lot about you. And but I think what is also really interesting, you said that actually you got that sort of pivotal moment, that light bulb moment, that awakening, as it were, into 2017. You launched the business effectively, I think you said 2019, and then sort of bang, in comes COVID. So we know that's the challenge, but you responded so well to that. But here you are providing a fantastic service, and you can see the rewards for joys from it. But what do you think is the most rewarding bit from the eyes of a business owner?
Yeah, I mean, look, businesses, I've read somewhere, I can't remember, forgive me, I can't remember where, but, the businesses take 2 to 3 years to get their mojo. To really, we first year 1 is proof of concept, but then it was sort of, partly it was COVID. I hit COVID. But I'm going to give myself 18 months, proof of concept. And I do feel I've got proof of concept. I mean, I've got lovely, amazing reviews, which are, I haven't paid, I haven't slipped people a tenner for. So, reviews from people who are pretty high maintenance. So proof of concept, and now I'm in the plain sailing really mode of really trying to sort of solidify what we've built with my artists. Without the artists, I wouldn't, there would be no Artfully Sorted. So I adore them all. But I would say in this period of whatever 2 years, there've been days when I've had lots of doubt and felt like I was 1 step forward and 3 back, and it's just trying to focus on those wins, and my sort of biggest tip to anybody is anyone thinking about doing your own business and thinking about forging a path for yourself, is don't look left and right too often, because that can be really destabilizing. Surround yourself with a really supportive tribe and network, and I'm very, very lucky to have that. And just make a list of those wins. Every time you get a win, no matter how small it is, keep it up, keep it on a board, keep it on your notepad, and just keep reminding yourself of those, because it's not plain sailing. And there have been times when I've thought maybe hang my tape measure hang my tape measure, my wall MOT. But now, sitting here 2 years on, I feel very, very blessed that, I've been able to support artists through a really, really tough time, actually, in many respects. Not so much just from lack of selling opportunities, but, artists make work to be appreciated. And if it can't be seen, it's really, really challenging for them emotionally. And so, yes, supporting artists through what's been a really difficult time, and supporting our charities, whether it's the World Land Trust through our event, or Artists in Residence through sales, and the messages that come back from both of those have made it all the worthwhile.
I think on that note, I mean, what a joy to have chatted to you today. But a joy, I think, that you are in so many people's lives, in their homes. And I love this comment here, brought to you by one of your artists, and it says, Charissa is creative in coming up with ideas to support and look after her artists. So Charissa Risley, thank you so much. Don't hang up that tape measure. Keep doing those MOTs. And we look forward to seeing you on the 24th. Thank you very much indeed.
You're amazing. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for your time, and thanks everyone for joining us. And by the way, if you've enjoyed this, and I'm sure you have, this has been great fun. This one is we'll share this on our IG Live channel, as you know. We'll share this on LinkedIn. We'll share this, everywhere, and you can do the same, because actually, this is, Charissa talks about networking, that support. This is how we can help one another to grow, to leverage, to spread the word about the great work that she does. So Charissa, thank you very much for your time, and thank you to everyone for joining us.
Thank you.
Take care.
Take care. Bye. Bye.